Now that you aren't having to do pull-ups off the side of the house and you got maybe some normal off season with Mick, what have you done to your body this off season? And then Coach Stowe's talking a little bit maybe about the way that you're bending. And so what's the physical overhaul been like over the last couple of months?
It's just been a great time being able to be back in the facility during spring and during winter workouts because, this is like one of our biggest times in terms of developing a team and creating like a great group of guys and a great group of athletes. So it's been an awesome time me getting a chance to work out with Coach Mick and all our other coaches. And this has been a big overhaul of just getting stronger and faster and just doing all the things we can do to strengthen my body and all of our bodies so that we can be the best for when we got to spring ball and then for us to get into the fall. So, but yeah, like we've done a lot of workouts and a lot of things of that nature of us just building our team. And it's been a very good very good winter workout for me, workout time for me in terms of Coach Mick and Coach Stud and from what I've heard from them.
Okay, let's go next to Doug Lamarice, Cleveland.com.
Hey, Nick, with you and Thayer being two of the best returning tackles in the country and Paris being one of the best young tackle prospects in the country, how did you think it might shake out with who might be asked to move to guard? And did you think there was any chance that it would be one of, you or Thayer as one of the veterans who they might say, hey, maybe we'll try Paris at tackle and move you guys inside? Just what did you think might happen?
We were prepared for anything. We have to know the whole offensive line, whether or not we play tackle, guard, or center primarily. So it's not like we wouldn't be able to know the position from another standpoint. But in terms of how that would shake out, at the end of the day, we just want to play the best 5 linemen we got. So if we have 5 great tackles, then someone's got to learn how to snap the ball. Or if we have 5 great guards, then like someone learn how to play tackle. It's just at the end of the day, we want to play the best 5 guys we got and create a great group of first team and second team guys that can go out, and if something were to happen, we have another guy to step in. That's something I feel like we had last year. We just had a great, talented group of guys that every single person from the 1s all the way to the 2s and even some guys that weren't even traveling with us that were ready to step up and play at a moment's notice no matter what.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, next up, Bill Rabinowitz from the Dispatch. Bill.
Hi, Nick. Probably the biggest question about the offensive line is the middle of it. Tell me how you think it's shaking out. Tell me what who stood out to you. I'm not asking you to predict who's going to start, but what are your impressions of those guys competing?
I've been really impressed with the middle of our offensive line. Like, a lot of people have questions about the offensive line every single year. It's like, oh, how are the tackles going to do, or how the middle of the line going to do? And every year, it's always our job for us to go and just prove people wrong. Every single one of those guys have been doing really well. Josh Fryers had a great spring ball. Matt Jones been doing well. Luke's been having a great spring ball, playing a little bit of center. And Paris as well has also had a great time playing as well. So all these guys have shown a lot of great skill and a lot of intuition about the position they're playing and about how to be an offensive lineman. So it's been very impressive watching all those guys roll and have a great spring.
Thank you.
All righty, next up, Patrick Murphy, 247. Patrick.
Nick, we were just talking to Paris, and he said that you were the guy who's impacted him the most this spring. What have you done to kind of work with him? I know he's playing next to you right now. So what have you done to kind of provide that impact on him?
Well, I think he probably looks at me as like an older guy, like someone to look up to. Because me and him were competing for the spot last year, and like through competition, we make each other better. Iron sharpens iron. So we would always communicate and stuff like that. And now with me and him playing together, now he's kind of looked towards me about like, well, how did you and Wyatt maybe do this? And like, although I would tell him like, yeah, me and Wyatt did this, me and Wyatt did that. Like now it's me and him. Like it's about what we can do together. So that's the big important thing that I've kind of instilled to him, that like it's his story, it's his time for him to show what he can do and to be the player that he can be, that we all know he can be. So it's been more about just like him growing and developing as a player, and along with me just still developing as a player, but also being like a guy that's been here before, that's seen it before, and that can give him just a little bit of encouragement or guidance in terms of anything he needs.
All righty, we'll go next to Joey Kaufman from the Dispatch. Joey.
Nick, you were draft eligible after last fall. Did you give any thought to the idea of declaring, or and If not, why'd you feel comfortable staying and all that?
I gave a little bit of thought to it, but I felt comfortable coming back for another year because I felt like I had a lot more to prove. I had a lot more for me to show on the field. And I wanted another opportunity to have another great winter, to have another good summer, good spring, and another chance for me to come out and play with these guys and possibly get a chance for us to win a national championship and get back on that field, you know?
All righty, let's go next to Jeremy Birmingham from Leonard Monroe. Jeremy.
Nick, for you and Ferris, you were both the top-ranked tackle in the country coming out of high school. You were each, had all these high expectations. It took you 3 years to get on the field as a starter. Here's Paris now as a sophomore who's playing a different position. Do you guys have the ability to sort of share some of the, I guess, the struggles that you've had to get through to get to where you are, and has that helped keep you guys closer?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone's journey here is different, Some people's journeys start as soon as their freshman year and then they just start rolling. And some people, it takes them 4, maybe even 5 years for them to go. Everyone's journey is different, but through that, like struggles and like tribulations that we had to go through come like the growth and development of not only a player, but more importantly, a person. So that's kind of was the big thing that me and Paris would probably talk about and what we would share. Like we would talk about the growth of ourselves, not only as a player, but about the person. Like I'm way different than I was, let alone my sophomore year. I'm way different than what I was like my freshman year or coming out of high school. Like I'm a completely different person in terms of how I approach things, my mentality about things. And it's about the growth that me and him both have had over our times here that we kind of bond over.
Does him being a journalist now make you guys a little wary about him?
No, he's really good at writing. Like I actually read some of his stuff one day in the car when he was driving me home, and he's really impressive in terms of how he's able to articulate himself and how he's able for him to write. So I was really impressed with him because I never knew that about him, that he wanted to be a journalist and stuff like that. That's just like another thing that we just communicated through time and just being together and playing next to each other and just growing that bond. So I think I have no worries about him. I think he's going to do great journalism, and I think he's going to have a great time with that.
All right, next up, we'll go to Tony Gerdeman, Buckeye Scoop.
Telling us about how all of these guys have come so far. I don't think anybody has come farther than you have from your freshman year till. So what's it like being where you are now, and you feel so comfortable? Just describe that journey from then till now, I guess, succinctly.
I mean, coming in as a freshman, this was probably one of the most competitive places I've ever seen or I've ever been a part of. So that would probably be the first thing I would talk about, just like the competitive nature and the strive for excellence that every single player and coach and even our just like staff has in terms of trying to be the best at whatever they can do. That was the first thing that just like struck out to me. And then through that growth came a lot of trials and tribulations of like me trying to gain my way, to trying to learn the offense, trying to feel comfortable with the team. And then, it took me some time. It took me time for me to find my groove and find my rhythm and find how comfortable I was. Like I felt like I got there a little bit during my sophomore year. And then you never know what you don't know. That's what we say a lot here. Like you don't know what you don't know. So when my junior year came up, and then I got into a whole new level of feeling comfortable. Like I thought that my sophomore year, like, oh, this is probably the most comfortable I'll ever be. Like I feel great. And then one more year comes around and I feel even more like tight with the team. I feel more tight with what I'm doing and everything of that nature. So just the constant like growth of feeling more comfortable with the team and then not knowing what you don't know, and then just going through different challenges and different struggles, and then coming out of that better as not only as a man, but also as a football player are kind of what I would say about like that whole like journey.
All righty, we'll do 3 more. We'll start with Nathan Barrett. Nathan.
Yeah, my question maybe is kind of a natural follow-up to that, but you talked about kind of this journey you're on, and then last year to have a season where you didn't just sort of like hold your own, you really broke through. Like by all accounts, everyone thought you had a fantastic season. How does that change just as an athlete? Did you feel a change in your attitude or your mentality off of that? I mean, do you come in with a different mindset to what you can accomplish this year?
In some areas, like obviously like the main goal is for me to improve on what I did from the season before. Like, I'm not going to just forget about what I've done. I'm going to make sure that like what I've done is to try to improve on the things that I've done, and not just to stay the same, but to be even better. So that's like the main goal. But in my own mentality, it's really about just do what I've been doing. Work hard, train hard, eat right, practice hard, play with a lot of effort, do all the things that got me to that point to begin with. Like, nothing should change just because, oh, I played a year, or, oh, I've been here before. Like, no, like the same mentality, the same drive, the same work ethic has to stay the same, but I have to improve while doing that.
Alrighty, next up, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors. Dan.
Hey, Nick, Thayer was saying how he wants to be the best tackle in the country this year. Have you seen anything different from him as he goes into this season?
He has a lot of confidence about himself. He has a lot of confidence, a lot of effort, and a lot of determination. And he had a great sprint, a great winter in terms of working out, you know? So he's showing what he wants to do. And like, he's been working out, doing a lot of film work and doing all the things necessary to achieve that goal.
Alrighty, and final question for today, we'll go to Tim May from Leonard Monroe. Tim.
Thank you, Mike. Hey, Nick, I was just wondering, do you and Thayer feel like those corner posts on a good fence right now? I mean, what is that sense like as you guys go through your workouts every day with these other younger guys sort of coming along, and just what's your sense of where y'all are from a progress standpoint in the spring with this offensive line?
I feel like we've made some good progress, especially from our first days here as offensive line. We got a good group of guys, and we're developing each and every one of us, and we're creating that edge that we need to have as offensive linemen. We're also creating that sort of discipline and work ethic that also takes for us to be offensive linemen, for us to keep the same consistency that we've had over the past 3 years I've been here, and for the years prior to that. So I know me and Thayer are both just looking at it from the perspective of like, we're the older guys in the room. We have a responsibility not only to lead and inspire people around us, but also to create and foster like a sense of like determination and growth within our own like unit ourselves.
Yeah, who is one guy that's really made strides that people don't know about yet on that offensive line?
I mean, it's tough for me to pick one. Like, I already told you about like Josh and Barrett and Luke, but all them. But I mean, all three of those guys, and Matt Jones, like all three of those guys, they made a lot of strides in terms of, putting in the extra time and film work to get the football IQ. Because that's something that a lot of people really talk about, is just like that natural intelligence that like when something goes wrong or when something kind of changes, to be able to go on the fly and make it work, or being able to understand film study, understand the things that they need to see. I would say that Josh Fryer and Matt Jones are really good in that department. I would say Luke's really good at being able to have that football IQ as well, and being able to make things work on the fly and just be able to make small changes here and there to help himself. And then with Paris, I mean, his just toughness and aggressiveness have just been something of like just amazing to watch. He's always had that aggression coming out of high school, his first year here, and it's just showing on the field now. Like, everyone talks about it.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to click on that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing, and come visit us over at BuckeyeGrove.com for all the best Ohio State information on the web.